Let me ask you something. How many projects do you have that you started and then just never finished? How many stray sticky notes do you have stuck on your wall right now that are likely to take some paint off? They've been there so long. How many times have you gotten that weird burst of energy and inspiration at midnight, scribbled down notes and crafted a whole new genius offer in the middle of the night, feeling like you've just found that golden idea only to do absolutely nothing with it when you woke up the next day? If you're anything like me, the answer is probably a lot. Maybe it's that online course that you know would make you some passive income that's outlined, but just sitting in a notebook. Maybe it's that big launch idea that got pushed right down your to-do list once again. Maybe it's a podcast you bought that microphone for and then just never used. And maybe it's even a revenue goal that you really wanted to hit this financial year, and all of a sudden it's almost June and you haven't made any progress towards it. Here's the thing, this happens to everyone. It's not just you or me. These loose strings and unfinished plans don't make you a procrastinator. They don't make you a bad business owner. They make you guilty of living the human experience. That is all. Everyone has these unfinished goals. And my goal today is to share with you the secret that big businesses use to move projects from the idea in the middle of the night phase to the actually making money from this thing phase. And it works. How do I know that? Not only is it the strategy that all big businesses use, it's also the strategy that I've used to grow 5 multi-million-dollar businesses. And I've seen it work with so many women who I've taught this to inside the Her Business Network. And today I'm sharing it with you. So let's talk about how to turn your unfinished goals into tangible, profitable assets just by changing the way you plan. Hey there, I'm Susie Daphnis, your host and the CEO of Her Business, and today we're talking about unfinished business. We're talking about that plan you've had up your sleeve but never tried to implement, that new high-ticket offer that you know would make money but you haven't quite completed, the lead magnet that should be generating so many new opportunities for you every month, but it sits untouched in Canva. It's frustrating, right? Because you know it's untapped income that's just sitting there, but you're stuck doing admin and client work and this and that and everything. Your next sale, your next client, your next big thing, it could be hidden inside something that is sitting on the back burner right now. And right now, it's costing you. Every unfinished thing, be it a course or a blog series or a system or a new strategy, it drains your energy and confidence when it sits there like digital clutter. And we've all been there. I personally have been there with a particular project for quite a while. I've had a goal to write a book for quite some time now. We're talking years. I knew I had information that would help so many women business owners if I could just get the words on the pages and get the thing done. If I could just get that information out there. But guess what happened? The more urgent stuff, emails, interviews, meetings, calls. Team questions, content, Instagram, filming things, meetings, scheduling, ticking tasks off, more meetings. It just kept getting pushed off, and I pushed it off for years. And it wasn't until recently when I changed how I structured my plan for writing the book that I actually saw movement in the project. And guess what? Before, it was something that stressed me out and hung over my head as this incomplete thing, always there and left undone. But now I'm excited again. I'm making real progress that gives me energy and confidence in my ability to keep going. Here's the hack. I use the same secret that I used for my previous businesses. I use the same planning structure that I apply to just about everything else. And because I implemented this, I started to see progress on this really important project for me. And that's what I'll be teaching you today. Now, you know the saying, work smarter, not harder. Of course you do. I'm sure you've heard it. Everybody loves to throw it around, but no one actually tells you what working smarter actually means. So we try to plan the year. We set New Year's resolutions. So we map out the big vision for our business and we imagine where we want to be in 5 years' time. And then those plans, those goals, they seldom or never come to fruition because we get pulled out immediately into a cluster of day of demands and a growing to-do list. And by the time May rolls around, we've forgotten half the goals that we set in January. And I mean that literally. Can you remember all the New Year's resolutions you made for your business? Or did they disappear along with, holiday decorations? So what is the natural conclusion we jump to when we don't hold up our side of the bargain? We can feel guilty. We can think that we have a motivation problem. We can think we're lazy. And we get frustrated with ourselves. Well, I am here to relieve that guilt because you do not have a motivation problem. It's actually a planning problem, and it's a time frame problem. I'll say that again. It's a planning problem and it's a time frame problem. You're working in timelines that are probably way too long. And the thing that is making you feel scattered is trying too much for too long without the right checkpoints in between. And this is where the secret comes in. Are you ready? Successful people plan their lives 90 days at a time. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to be saying a few things again. Successful people plan their lives 90 days at a time. And successful business owners do this with their campaigns and with their businesses too. And it's called the 90-day cycle secret. When you first hear it, you might think that this is something only businesses at the big end of town do, because you see companies listed on the stock exchange talking about their quarterly results. You hear about the strategic plan for this quarter from a big telecommunications business or a government department. But there's no reason small businesses can't steal this very same strategy, because when they do and they implement it, they actually thrive. Now, successful small business owner and New York Times bestselling author Michael Hyatt says 90 days is the ideal achievement cycle. Now, this is something I've been doing in my businesses for literally decades. And because I believe in this so much and have seen results in my own life, it's also something we've taught thousands of other small business owners to do. And these women tell us that this has made a huge difference to their clarity, their focus, and their results. Even women who aren't traditionally planners tell us that this is now a must-have part of their process. Like member Louise Davis, who provides consulting, training, and coaching that helps transform frontline managers into leaders in large organisations. That's what Louise's business does. And she said to me that in the past, she'd rather have a root canal than do this type of planning. And maybe you can relate. Planning can be boring, can be really ineffective. It can feel rigid or like a waste of time. But when you know this process of taking your big goals and breaking them into a 90-day cycle, it can also be exciting and gratifying as you get to your goals sooner. I found that our members now love planning, and they look forward to our annual planning process, which we host every November. They come along with their Her Business planners ready to plan the year. And I work with members to get a big picture of the 12 months ahead. And then, once we know where we want to be in 12 months, then we focus on the next 90 days. And then throughout the year, we have our quarterly business strategy meetings to review the last 90 days and reset the goal for the next 90 days. And getting this rhythm in your year is powerful and addictive because it works. You're going to find yourself wanting to plan, waiting for the next 90-day cycle to start because you get to go again on either another part of a big project you're working on or on a brand new project. You'll find yourself wanting to plan. Like Tracy Bode, who's the CEO of Zytec, a business that provides amazing assistive technology to people with disabilities. And she says that 90-day planning is a must for her year ahead. And of course, once you learn this system, it's something I encourage you to do with your partner or your family, to map out your personal goals and chunk them into 90 days as well. Now, on the business side of things, this is something my team and I do. We have our ultimate yearly goals and timelines, and then each year we decide how much progress we're making towards that goal and the strategic projects that are going to get us there. Then we break our annual goals, and we only ever have a few annual goals. I want to mention that as well. We break them into 90-day cycles where we know with confidence the things that we're working on are related to the big picture. So we set our big picture goals, and then we break it down into 90-day cycles, and we have very specific goals within each 90-day cycle. That means that at the end of the 12 months, we will, all things going to plan, have hit that big annual goal. Here's what happens. It's like we have permission to put our heads down and get stuff done because we've taken the time to ensure it's getting us to where we want to go. So we're always working on things that relate to our big picture goals. There's real power in what you can get done when you focus on a 90-day cycle that's in service of a 12-month or bigger goal. That's why in financial terms, many businesses speak about their results in terms of quarters. The 12 months of the year are divided into 4 quarters. Each quarter is 3 months or 90 days. And the idea that 90 days is ideal for setting and reviewing goals is rooted in both psychology and practical business strategy. Now, this period strikes a balance between being long enough to achieve significant progress and short enough to maintain focus and urgency, your focus and also your team's focus. And one key reason 90-day cycles are effective is their adaptability to change. Now, business moves fast, you know that. And a 90-day focus allows you to make quick adjustments and realign your actions to keep moving towards your bigger goals. And this time frame also helps you avoid procrastination, meaning if goals are too far away from the present time, we can be really slow in taking action towards those goals. But when we impose a shorter deadline, there's a natural pressure to prioritize effectively and use resources more creatively because of that time frame. And shorter cycles can push you out of your comfort zone, which is actually a necessary condition for growth and development. And 90-day increments also align well with how we are motivated. Setting and working towards short-term goals can provide immediate feedback and a sense of achievement, both of which are powerful motivators. And this is where an idea that we talk about inside of her business of working backward, this is where this idea becomes super powerful. Because not only do you think backward in terms of how you meet your eventual goals, but you also want to think about working backwards in terms of the 90-day increments between now and then. So you can take the big goal and break it down into things you're doing every day in service of your goals. Now, this is why inside the Her Business Network, we operate in 90-day cycles with our members as well, helping them review their money plan every quarter to stay or get back on track, helping them review their marketing plan every quarter to stay or get back on track, having them review their mindset plan every quarter and leadership plans to stay or get back on track. So I want to ask you again, what is one unfinished project in your business that is costing you time or energy or income? What if you took that idea off the sticky note and implemented a 90-day plan? And what if 90 days from now, that podcast, that offer, that product, that webinar, that course, that lead magnet, that email sequence, what if it was done? How amazing would that feel? That is the power of the 90-day cycle secret. But there's one thing that lines up with it that actually makes this really work. And that is the power of accountability. When we have a goal and we set the goal by ourselves, we have a chance of achieving it, of course. When we have a goal and we declare it to another, we have a higher chance of achieving it. When we have a goal, we declare it to another and we regularly meet with that other to check in on each other, on our progress, that is when results really happen. And this is based on a study that came out of the United States that talked about how much of an increase, and I'll find the details and I'll put them in the show notes because I can't remember what the percentage is right now, but the percentage of people who get their goals when they not only set a goal, when they make action towards that goal, but when they declare it and when they show up and are accountable to someone else for that goal, the probability of that goal being achieved goes through the roof. That is why inside of the Her Business community, we not only work in these 90-day cycles and use this big business secret, but we also have accountability groups where you meet monthly to check in on your goals. They're groups of like-minded women in similar stages of business that work as part of what we call your growth group. This is how you grow your business with accountability using a cadence, a system that we've developed for staying motivated, staying on your goals, course correcting when you go off. And part of that is the 90-day cycle secret. But there's another couple of elements that are inside of how we approach things inside of her business, which has women go from feeling like they're kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall to feeling like they have a GPS for their business. They know where they're going over the next 12 months, and they know where they're going inside of each quarter inside of that 12 months. Right now, I want to invite you to something that could be the turning point in that next big campaign or project for yourself. On Wednesday, the 21st of May, I'm hosting our next quarterly business strategy meeting for women business owners. And for the first time, it's open to women outside the Her Business Network. Now, this is a rare opportunity to step back from the day-to-day, zoom out, and work on your business instead of in it for half a day with me. We're going to be creating your 90-day growth plan live with hot seats and breakout sessions. And in just 4 hours, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sydney time, we're going to work together to map out your next quarter. You're going to be in small breakout groups with other experienced business owners, and you'll leave with a plan and the motivation to follow through. We're going to be doing the working backwards that I mentioned. Now, if you are a networker, if you are part of our community, this is a free perk of membership that we host every quarter, as you know, to keep you on track. But if you're not a member, for this one time only, you can buy a ticket for just $99. It's over $1,000 in value. I would love for you to get a peek inside the high-level work that we do inside the network and get your next quarter planned out and actionable. We would love to have you. And details for members to register and for non-members to grab tickets are available over at the show notes page, and I'll give you the details for that in just a moment. Right now, what I want to do is give a shout out to Karen Reddick of Alternatives for Animals. I met Karen through a mastermind I belong to, and we hit it off. She's a holistic vet, and she does amazing work working to heal animals. Now, she started listening to the show, which I'm so thrilled about, and she said this. She said, episode 300 is excellent. So that was a few episodes ago, and she said anyone running a business should listen to that episode. So episode 300 was a celebratory episode. We pulled together the best of our 300 episodes, and we have 5 or could be 6 all-star women business owners sharing their best strategies. So I'll put a link to that in show notes as well. And Karen, I adore you, and thank you so much for the comment. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you would leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or shoot me a direct message. You can email me at podcast@herbusiness.com or direct message me on Instagram. You'll find us at Her Business on Instagram. Now, where you will find the links to join us for the business strategy meeting, to learn more about the Her Business Network, to get a summary of today's episode is at www.herbusiness.com/308. So www.herbusiness.com/308. You'll also find there a summary of today's episode and links to other resources that we've discussed. Now, if this is your first time listening to the show, then subscribe wherever you are listening. If you are listening and the 21 May event has already passed, just head on over to the show notes at herbusiness.com/308 and leave your details. And the next time we have something like that coming up, we will notify you. But if you're listening to this now and you can still get in for the 21st of May, go ahead and do that. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you here next week, right here on the Her Business podcast. Bye for now.